Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I last recorded anything or posted anything on YouTube. I kind of actually thought I was going to just quit because I wasn't really enjoying it last time. I only made a few videos and it just took up a lot of time. But I've just been having an itch to just talk to the camera about what I'm reading, what I want to read, and all things books. So I thought, why not? Let's start it up again. Hopefully I'll be able to stick to uploading once a fortnight maybe, or once a month. It would be great if some of you followed. It would be great if some of you subscribed to the channel and left comments and, engaged with me a little bit to, just have conversations about what books you enjoyed, if you like any of the books that I talk about, and I just want to hear everyone's opinions on everything. So if you would like to follow me on this YouTube journey, please subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment down below introducing yourself and we can be virtual book friends. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this video. So, I've seen so many videos this month pop up about picking February TBRs from a TBR jar. Now, I do have a TBR jar, well, I actually sell them, so I have plenty available to me, but I didn't feel like doing a TBR jar video this month, maybe next month. And the reason why is because I've had this idea of a February short month, short TBR. Now, that doesn't mean short in numbers, because this is my February TBR. My February hopefuls. I don't think I'll get through all of these. But with it being a short month, I thought, how many of my short books can I get through in this month? So I'm not reading less books because there's less days. I just thought it'd be a fun little experiment. So if you follow any of my other social medias, my Facebook, my Instagram, you might be aware of a monthly book challenge that I'm doing. So every month there's a different prompt. We do not have to all read the same book. That is not what the challenge is about. So you can pick whatever book you'd like that fits the prompt that month, and we can talk about what we read, whether we enjoyed it, and discuss what's coming up next month. So there's still a little bit of a book club community feel without us all having to go out and buy the same book, because it's not very likely that I could say, right, we're reading this book now, and everyone would already have it. So to try and encourage people reading books that they already own, or just picking up books secondhand as they come across them, with the pre-love pages element of things, I was thinking we all read different books, but we're reading them for the same reason, if you know what I mean. So February's month prompt is a book that you read in school, and I've been wanting to reread this book for a while now, so it was the perfect time. It's Of Mice and Men. So it's a very short book, so it fits with the short month, short TBR element of things. So, if you're not aware, Of Mice and Men is a really sad story. I read this in school. I think I was in like year 9, so quite young, and it really resonated with me. So I'll read the back of it just for anyone who wants to know. It says, "Guys like us that work on ranches are the loneliest guys in the world. They got no family, they don't belong no place. George and his large, simple-minded friend Lenny are drifters, following wherever work leads them. Arriving in California's Salinas Valley, they get work on a ranch. If they can just stay out of trouble, George promises Lenny that one day they might be able to get some land of their own and settle down someplace. But kind-hearted, childlike Lenny is a victim of his own strength. Seen by others as a threat, he finds it impossible to control his emotions, and one day not even George will be able to save him from trouble. Of Mice and Men is a tragic and moving story of friendship, loneliness, and of the dispossessed. A small masterpiece." So I thought this was a great one to reread for the prompt, and it also fits being a small book. So this is a definite February TBR read. The next one I've got here is one that I could actually hold on to for a future month's prompt. I can't remember the exact month. It might be like in the summertime, but it was a book that you wish you read in school. So the next book on my TBR is Romeo and Juliet, William Shakespeare. I've actually never read this. I obviously know the story of Romeo and Juliet, but I've never read the play. I've never seen the play. I only know the story just from people talking about it and referencing it. So I would really like to read this. Again, it's just a short one, and with it being a play, there's not as much. Well, it looks like there's a lot of words on the page, but you know what I mean. It's dialogue. It seems to be quicker to read a play where it's all dialogue. Obviously, I think the story of Romeo and Juliet is a pretty famous one, but I'll still read the back of it anyway. Love, sex, and death are the components of Shakespeare's classic story of the love of two young people, which reaches across the barriers of family and convention. It encompasses great love, high drama, low comedy, and a tragic ending. Romeo and Juliet is a pure tragedy of youth told in verse that is both youthful and intense. The loveliness and the music of the poetry make believable the otherwise commonplace afflictions of blighted love. The beautiful personification of some of the main characters has caused Romeo, Juliet, Mercutio, and the nurse to become part of the world's literary mythology. The text of this edition is taken from the Cambridge University Press New Shakespeare, edited by Sir Arthur Quiller Couch and John Dover Wilson. Apologies if I mispronounce any of the names. Like I said, I have never actually seen Romeo and Juliet. I know how to pronounce Romeo and Juliet, but as for the others, I'm not very good. I haven't read too much Shakespeare. I've only read Macbeth and Much Ado About Nothing, I think, and I loved both of them, so I'm hoping I would really like this as well. But again, I don't know if I will definitely be reading this in February, but I would like to. With it being Valentine's month as well, I know Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy, but it is also a classic love story, which I think really would fit in the month of February very well. So that's the second book on my February TBR. The next one is a book that I've literally heard nobody talk about ever. And when I put it on my story graph, if I have a look at the storygraph recommendations for what to read next, it comes up with, oh, this has been shelved by the fewest amount of people on our platform, so like this is unique kind of thing. It's a little novella, very small, called Why Robin Flew Back, and it is about the AIDS crisis in the 80s. It's going to be another really sad one. I probably will cry reading this. If any of you have watched It's a Sin, that mini-series drama, that was so good. I watched it twice and I cried both times, literally sobbing, struggling to breathe. So I'm thinking this book might have similar vibes. I'll read the back of it now. The book highlights the far-reaching consequences of the AIDS epidemic in the UK during the 1980s through a sad but compelling love story between two college students who separate to conform to their families' narrow-minded expectations. Ultimately brought back together by tragedy, Felicity and Robin meet many exceptional people on their journey, characters who represent many of the forgotten heroes and heroines of the time. As the couple learn the importance of being true to themselves, hope appears in the darkest of places, and the suffering gives them a chance to believe in the fundamental kindness of human nature again. This sounds like it is going to absolutely rip my heart into two, and I'm actually looking forward to reading it. Again, the centre of the story is a love story, so I would like to read it in February for being Valentine's, and it is, of course, very small. There is actually only 63 pages, so I could read this in one night, so I think I'll definitely be reading this month. The next one I've got is a classic-ish Roald Dahl book called Madness. So if you're unaware, because not many people actually know, Roald Dahl has written many adult fiction books as well as children's fiction. So I have the whole children's Roald Dahl collection on my shelf because I would love to reread them because I loved them when I was a kid. But I haven't got many of the adult fictions. I only have two. But this is the one that I've picked for February. It's a little bit bigger than some of the others on the February TBR, but it is still quite a short book. It is 236 pages, so it is on the smaller side. This one, I think, is the horror. I've got two, and one of them is a horror, and I think it is this one. It's called Madness. I'll read the back. Our greatest fear is of losing control, above all, of losing control of ourselves. In these 10 unsettling tales of unexpected madness, Roald Dahl explores what happens when we let go of our sanity. So yeah, I think this is a horror. Among other stories, you'll meet the husband with a jealous fixation on the family cat, the landlady who wants her guests to stay forever, the man whose taste for pork leads him astray, and the wife with a pathological fear of being late. This sounds really dark. I think this might creep me out a little bit. I would like to read it. Whether or not I do this month, I'm unsure. It depends. If I get in a big romance mood with it being like Valentine's month, I might not reach for this. But if I want something a bit dark in between some of those reads, though the romances I've got so far are sad, dark ones, so maybe not. This sounds a bit terrifying. I don't really want to read about the man who's jealous of the family cat, because I hate when things... What I'm wearing is covered in cats. I'm a crazy cat lady. I'm wearing cat socks right now as well. If there's anything bad that happens to the cat, I'm going to be so upset. But I won't know unless I read it. So this is on the February TBR. Whether or not I get to it, I don't know. The next one is another Shakespeare. It is Tempest. I've never read this. I actually do not know anything about it other than I've heard of its name. So this one is a bit going in blind. I will read the back though, and it'll be the first time I'm reading the back. So if I'm really silly, does everyone know what The Tempest is and I've just been living under a rock? Please let me know. So this one says, The Tempest is the most lyrical, profound and fascinating of Shakespeare's late comedies. Prospero, long exiled from Italy with his daughter Miranda, seeks to use his magical powers to defeat his former enemies. Eventually, having proved merciful, he divests himself of that magic and his art and prepares to return to the mainland. The Tempest has often been regarded as Shakespeare's farewell to the stage before his retirement. In the past, critics emphasised the romantically beautiful features of The Tempest, seeing it as an imaginative fantasia. In recent decades, however, The Tempest has also been treated as a potentially political drama which offers controversial insights into colonialism and racism. Frequently staged and diversely filmed, the play has influenced numerous poets and novelists. This sounds really interesting. I didn't know that Shakespeare wrote anything with like magic. I know Macbeth has the witches in it. I've read that, but I don't know. It didn't feel like fantasy. I'm not sure. I don't really know what to expect from this. It also said it's a comedy, so this might be a more light-hearted one. But then it also said political drama, so maybe not. It just sounds quite interesting. Again, it's only small and it's another play, so this is like 125 pages. Hopefully, I'll be able to fit this on in the February TBR. There's still a lot more books to go though. The next one is one that I will definitely be reading this month, and it is Nick and Charlie by Alice Osman. I'm actually using more of her books as a stand for my phone right now to record this video. This isn't my book. I've borrowed it off my little sister. I've read all the Heartstopper books now, and this is the next one, the last one so far in Nick and Charlie's story. And it's just such a cute, lovely little romance story. Like, it's perfect for Valentine's. So I'm excited to read this. This is a definite for February. So if you haven't read the Heartstopper books, you might want to skip me reading the back of this. I don't know if it'll be spoilers or not, but just a warning. And if you haven't read the Heartstopper books, I highly recommend because they're really good. So this says, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? Charlie, I've been going out with Nick Nelson for 2 years. He likes rugby, dogs, the sound felt tips make on paper, and drawing on shoes. He also likes me. Nick, things me and Charlie Spring do together include watch films, make out, make food, talk, argue, laugh. Maybe we're kind of boring, but that's fine with us. Everyone knows that Nick and Charlie are the perfect couple, that they're inseparable, but now Nick is leaving for university and Charlie will be left behind at sixth form. As the time to say goodbye draws closer, both boys begin to question, is their love strong enough to survive being apart? After all, first loves rarely last forever. So I'm obsessed with the Heartstopper universe. I absolutely cannot wait for the Heartstopper film, which I think will be coming out this year, but I'm not 100% sure. I think the film will include this book and the next one, because the last book comes out this year as well. Maybe the film will be next year, I'm not sure, but I just want to consume all of the Heartstopper media that I possibly can, because I think it's one of the sweetest love stories I've ever come across, and this is a definite on the February TBR. The next one is one that I've seen quite a lot. I've heard a lot of people reading it, but I haven't read many reviews. I haven't seen much discourse on it. It's Claire Keegan, Small Things Like These. This was shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2022, and it looks like it's going to be a really good story. Again, it's only small, coming in at 112 pages, so it is a short one. I could probably do this in 1 or 2 nights. I haven't got many like literary fiction type books on my TBR. I don't know if this is a literary fiction or not. Let me read the description. It says, it is 1985 in an Irish town during the weeks leading up to Christmas. Bill Furlong, a coal and timber merchant, faces his busiest season. As he goes round the houses making deliveries, he feels the past rising up to meet him and encounters the complicit silences of a small community controlled by the church. So that doesn't give us too much, really. I would like to read this. It's a little bit different to everything else that's on my TBR so far, but I'm not too sure. It does take place on the lead up to Christmas, so it might be better to save this for like November time, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to pop it in the hopeful pile anyway, and we'll see if I get to it or not. If you've read this and enjoyed it, please let me know, because I haven't heard much about it at all. The next one is a book I haven't heard much about at all, but I just came across it in a charity shop and thought it sounded interesting. It's called Suddenly by Isabelle Autissier. I don't know if I've pronounced that right or not, so please, I apologise if that was completely butchered. But it does sound really interesting. So this says, a young couple must trust each other with their lives when an adventure on the high seas becomes a nightmare in the Antarctic. Louise and Ludo want to squeeze as much out of life as they can. Working in their offices, they live in anticipation of their next weekend outdoor adventure, but always feel like they could be doing more. So in their whirlwind romance, they decide to quit their corporate jobs, fix up an old boat and sail it around the world. They're having the time of their lives, but when they make an unscheduled detour in a small Antarctic island, a storm leaves them stranded. In a dark twist, they find themselves living out the kind of adventure they'd only ever read about, testing their will to survive and the limits of a relationship formed amid the comforts and safety of modern life. A stunning, harrowing tale of survival and love suddenly is a story that we all search for in ourselves when we venture into the natural world, and what we find when we're truly faced with its daunting and awesome power. This sounds really good. Again, there's a romance in there, or a love story, I guess. It's not a romance because they're already a couple in the beginning, but there's a dark twist. If you're getting anything from my taste in reading, I do like romance, but I like when the romance has something else going on with it. I don't mind the odd, like, full-on contemporary romance, cheesy romance, but I do prefer when there's a little bit of something else going on. It's like my Storygraph statistics, romance is like the biggest one. And I look at it, I go, I don't read that much romance. But it's because a lot of books, like, are a different genre with romance. So that's where that comes from. But this sounds really good, like a adventure book. It's on the bigger side for some of the other ones in the TBR, but it's still not a large book. It's, 215 pages, so similar size to some of the others. But yeah, I just thought this looked really good. If anyone's read it, please do let me know. I hadn't heard of it until I just spotted it in the charity shop, so this is definite, I think. The next one is another one that I've had on my TBR for the longest time. It is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I have never read this book, and I have never watched the film either, so I don't actually know too much about it. I know that it's like a YA romance, I think. Again, like, I'm trying to fit as many like little romances into February as I can. This is, again, one of the bigger ones on the pile, but it's not huge. 237 pages. So again, it's just one of them. It's smaller than average, just like February. So I'll read the back of this one. It says, oh, Tilly's just come to say hello. You can see her tail. Hey, Till. It says, I walk around the school hallways and look at the people. I look at the teachers and wonder why they're here. Not in a mean way, in a curious way. It's like looking at all the students and wondering who's had their heart broken that day, or wondering who did the heartbreaking, and wondering why. Charlie is a freshman, and while he's not the biggest geek in the school, he is by no means popular. Shy, introspective, and intelligent beyond his years, yet socially awkward, he is a wallflower, caught between trying to live his life and trying to run from it. Charlie is attempting to navigate his way through uncharted territory, the world of first dates and mixtapes, family, dramas, and new friends, the world of sex, drugs, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. When all one requires is that perfect song on that perfect drive to feel infinite. But Charlie can't stay on the sideline forever. Standing on the fringes of life offers a unique perspective, but there comes a time to see what it looks like from the dance floor. The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a deeply affecting coming-of-age story that will spirit you back to those wild and poignant rollercoaster days known as growing up. Sorry, Tilly's just scratching on the door. I'll let her outside in a second. This was actually quite difficult to read the back, but the inside of the book doesn't look like that. Luckily, I struggled a bit reading that. Yeah, it's just a YA coming-of-age story. But it's popular for a reason, I suspect, so I would like to get round to this if I can, and again, I'm assuming there's going to be like a romance plot in there for February, so that's the next book on the TBR, Perks of Being a Wallflower. I've just let Tilly outside, so you shouldn't hear that scratching anymore, unless she wants to come back in. The next one that I've got is another popular one. I've heard lots of people raving about this book. It's another one about 225 pages. We Are Liars by E. Lockhart. I think this has just been adapted into a show or a film or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it has. I haven't read it. I haven't watched it. I don't know anything about it. It says, we are liars. We are beautiful and privileged. We are cracked and broken. A tale of love and romance. A tale of tragedy. Which are lies? Which is truth? You decide. So again, it fits with the others. Romance, tragedy, sadness, and it's also a little one. I'm excited to read this. I have heard good things about it, and it has been on my TBR for a while, so this is the next one, We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. The next one I've got is another E. Lockhart book, Fly on the Wall. Tilly is scratching wanting to come in. 1 second. She was literally outside for all of 2 minutes. So Fly on the Wall by E. Lockhart. I just spotted this in a charity shop and thought it sounded interesting. It says, at school where everyone is unique, Gretchen Yee feels ordinary. Even with her bright red hair, she's still the quiet girl who doesn't talk to anyone at lunch. Then there are the Art Rats, a group of popular boys, funny, sweet, annoying, confusing, especially Titus. Titus is definitely on Gretchen's radar, but she's too scared to make the first move. If only she could be a fly on the wall to find out what the boys are really like. This is the story of how one girl's wish came true. So this sounds really interesting. It's another YA. I don't read loads of YA, but I've actually got quite a few on the pile this month, so I'm intrigued to see if it kicks off me wanting to read a lot more YA, because I do have quite a few that I need to get through. That I've had on my TBR for a long time, so I just thought this sounded really interesting. Like, this girl turns into a fly, I'm assuming, because it does say that her wish comes true, so I think that sounds really interesting. And how many of us have always said, oh, I wish I was a fly on the wall in that situation, so reading about it seems pretty cool. So that's the next one on the TBR, Fly on the Wall by E. Lockhart. I've got 3 books left, 2 of which are movies. Well, they've been adapted into movies. So the first one, it's another YA one. It's If I Stay. I watched this film when it came out in the cinema and I loved it. I went and watched it with my friend, and when I came home I was just talking to my mum about it non-stop, and then when it came on Sky I was like, Mum, we can watch it, and we had like a movie night where we watched it again, and I cried again, and I just loved it. I loved this film so much. So again, this is another romance with a really sad storyline in there. It's another one that's around 225 pages. A lot of them are that kind of size. Like I said, I just picked off like some of the shortest books on my TBR. So if you don't know what this book is about, it says, that cat, she wants to go out again. Honestly, I get my steps in so much just walking backwards and forwards from that back door to let Tilly out. So If I Stay by Gail Foreman. The back of it reads, "Life can change in an instant. A cold February morning, a snowy road, and suddenly all of Mia's choices are gone, except one. As alone as she'll ever be, Mia must make the most difficult choice of all. Haunting, heart-wrenching, and ultimately life-affirming, If I Stay will make you appreciate all that you have, all that you've lost, and all that might be." This is a really sad one. I am going to cry. I know that I will. But it's also set in February, so I think it's the perfect time to read it. So if anyone's read the book and has watched the film, let me know, because the book's usually better than the film, and I loved that film. I haven't watched it for years, but I loved it when it came out, so I'm hoping that I'll really love the book too. So that's the next one on the TBR, If I Stay by Gail Foreman. This next book is another one that I've watched the film many times. It's around 212 pages. The film of this book is one that I've watched every time I feel like I really want to cry. It's one that has haunted my life, but in a way that I'm obsessed with it. I'm getting emotional even just thinking about the story because it's so sad. It is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. His name was covered up, so I just had to look on the spine. This story is one that literally I think about all the time. I'm hoping that if I read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, a story that I know that I enjoy, it might reignite the spark for the World War II books, and I get a load of them read off my TBR. That's what I'm hoping for, but obviously we don't know. I'm going to try and get to all of these this month, but it is a lot of books. So this one says, "The story of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is very difficult to describe. Usually we give some clues about the book on the cover, but in this case we think it would spoil the reading of the book. We think it's important that you start to read without knowing what it's about. If you do start to read this book, you'll go on a journey with a 9-year-old boy called Bruno. Though this isn't a book for 9-year-olds. And sooner or later you will arrive with Bruno at a fence. Fences like this exist all over the world. We hope you never have to cross such a fence." So like I said, I've watched the film, and the film has lingered in my mind for a very long time, which has made me want to read the book. I know a lot of people have done this book in school, so it's one that a lot of people are familiar with, but yeah, I'm ready to weep. I've got a lot of books on my TBR this month that are going to make me cry and weep and be broken, and I can't wait to read them all. I just need to unleash all of this emotion inside me with If I Stay and Romeo and Juliet and The Boy in the Striped Pajamas and what was it called? Why the Robin Flew, the book about the AIDS crisis. I am going to be a red blotchy mess for pretty much the whole of February. But yeah, that's the next book on the TBR, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I've got just one book left now, and I think it's the longest book out of all of them on my TBR, but it's only like 250 pages. It's called Boy A by Jonathan Triggle. This is one that I haven't heard loads about, but I bought it at a secondhand book sale with some friends that I met up with from an online book club, and one of those ladies said that she also has this book. So this is one that I haven't heard like loads of people talking about, so I assume anyone watching might not know about it either. It reads, "A is for apple, a bad apple. Jack has spent most of his life in juvenile institutions. He's about to be released with a new name, new job, and a new life. At 24, he is utterly innocent of the world, yet guilty of a monstrous childhood crime. To his new friends, he's a good guy with occasional flashes of unexplained violence. To his girlfriend, he's strangely naive and unreachable. To his caseworker, he's a victim of the system and of media-driven hysteria. And to himself, Jack is on a permanent trial. He struggles to start from scratch, forget the past, become someone else." This says that it has had a screen adaptation for Channel 4, so I think they may have made a series about this. I personally had never heard of it, so if anyone's watched that series, please do let me know. Oh no, it says now a major feature film, so it must be a movie. If anyone's watched the film, please do let me know, because I quite like to watch the film after I've read the book. This month I've read Hamnet and The Girl on the Train, and I would like to watch the films of both of those as well so that I can do a little comparison. So yeah, there's a film of this. I'll definitely watch it after I've read it to do the comparison. But if anyone has read or watched the film, please do let me know what you thought about it, because I think it's quite an interesting story. It doesn't sound like anything else that I've got on my TBR or that I've read before. So I would quite like to get to this if I can fit it in. So that's the last book on the February TBR, Boy A. Oh my goodness. These are all of the books that I've got on my February TBR. How many is that? Oh! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Plus the book club pick that I've got to read. That was Flowers for Algernon. I don't know too much about it. It's one of the Masterworks books, so I've never read one of those, so that's quite exciting. Tilly is scratching wanting to come in again, but she's just going to have to wait 2 minutes. So Flowers for Algernon is also on my February TBR, but I don't have that book yet. I'm going to borrow it from somebody at book club, because it's quite a pricey one to get hold of secondhand. But yeah, that does sound really interesting as well. That's obviously bigger than all of these books on my TBR. So I'm quite excited to get cracking and see how many of them I can get through. We're currently still in January, so I haven't made a start on any of these yet. I'm still finishing off one more book in January. I might do a little bit of a January read and wrap up video, because I have actually read quite a lot. I'm on my 8th book of the year, which is a lot faster reading than I normally am. I'm really in the mood to just read and read and read at the moment. Like, I can't stop reading, I can't stop thinking about books. So that's a good place to be for someone like me who surrounds themselves by books all the time. So I best go now so I can let Tilly in and run after her all day, because that's what she expects me to do. So if you watch this video, thank you so much. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of these books on my TBR, or if you've got any book challenges that you're doing. If you get involved in the monthly book challenge and you read a book that you read in school this month, please let me know what you picked. So hopefully it won't be too long till you see me again, unlike last time, and I'll have another video ready for you soon. Bye!